You know, I'll tell you later.
Welcome back to a Chicago Theater Blog's second interview in the Arthur Miller Project. We're here with Kimberly Senior, Director of Timeline's All My Sons, and Straw Dog's upcoming Uncle Vanya here at Straw Dog's rehearsal space. And we're going to continue our interview.
And you are.
And I'm Oliver Sava. So, directing a timeline, their audiences are pretty much known for being huge sticklers in terms of historical accuracy. Did you have to take that into account in directing?
I call them smart and a valued resource. Well, no, because I had a really great dramaturg working on the project. It's also a period in history I'm personally very interested in. The flip side of that is that, and I wasn't able to attend all of them, but Timeline does a lot of post-show discussions, and being able to sit in the audience with people who are like, well, I remember, and who like actually lived through that time period, was really exciting to sort of just draw upon that resource, and for them to see their own history reinterpreted for them, like in relief with the current times, and for them to be able to draw the parallels, I think was really dynamic and exciting. I mean, I think that's what's really enjoyable about doing Place for Timeline. It's my second show there, and that the audience is so passionate about the source material, and is so excited to. I mean, I remember I love history, but that growing up and going to school, I wasn't that excited about being taught to memorize dates or timelines. And that, ironically, the word timeline. But that, what excited me was like reading historical fiction or like learning about the people, you know, and being like, wow, you know, Abraham Lincoln was married, you know, like wanting to like hear about relationships, and that's what Timeline is able to do. I think is really exciting. I think it's really it's moving to see people who lived through the time sort of reflect on that time in their lives through the material.
Yeah. How has your experience directing Chekhov affected your directing Miller? Did you learn anything from your older stuff, bring it to newer? Just
well, I joke like every play is a Chekhov play. Yeah. I'm like, this play is just like Chekhov. But why I think I make that comparison is because of like the number one thing I'm always saying in rehearsal to actors when they're like holding a coffee cup in their hand. They're like, what should I do? And I think like, well, what would a person do? You know, like it's just drink it. Which is that I'm very excited in putting kind of real life on stage in that way, knowing that, of course, it's a play, it's theatrical, we know that, we see the lighting instruments, we're in a theater, we're holding a program, you know, they're wearing costumes, like, we know these things are true, but that ultimately, I think what turns people off about Chekhov, and even turns some people off about Arthur Miller, you know, if they're like, you know, some young people who are like, well, I'd rather go see a Neil the Beat play, which are also good, but that there's this sense of, that's not about me. And I think that I'm most excited about what I'm calling Chekhovian, but it was really just great drama, which is like people who want things from each other, trying to get them from each other with all sorts of obstacles in their way. And that's kind of how it informs it. I mean, I think the thing that most informs my work from working on Chekhov is the sense of what I call like a web, where it's like you're standing on stage, you can kind of take a snapshot at any moment and think like, how are all these people connected to one another or not connected to each other? And what does that mean about kind of where they're standing on stage and why they're standing there, or where they're looking, or, you know, I love like going to the Art Institute and wandering around and looking at a painting and like figuring out like how and why the painter like lit the painting from within, you know, like where they wanted our focus to be, but then what happens if we look beyond that focus. And that's something, because Chekhov has so many group scenes, you have to really think about that in Chekhov, but that was something that I feel like came up a lot for me during All My Sons.
All right, and tell us a little bit about Uncle Vanya, just how you guys are approaching the text.
It's awesome.
Is it it's a new translation?
It's a new-ish translation.
Right.
It's a translation by Kurt Columbus, who was formerly the Associate Artistic Director at Straw Dog and is now the Artistic Director at Trinity Rep in Providence, Rhode Island. And Kurt has translated Chekhov's 4 major plays, and he may be working on a translation of Ivanov right now, but he is very passionate about Chekhov and a Russian just scholar and brilliant man and great theater artist. And so he has written these translations, which is not to say they're the only ones, but I find them the most actable translations. They're very athletic and muscular, which according to Kurt are, and I don't speak Russian, but according to him that's the way they're intended, that is what the Russian language is, and that's the language, the colloquial language that Chekhov was using did feel that way, because I feel a lot of the translations of Chekhov are very languid and verbose, where these are, there aren't a ton of like monologues and diatribes. Like these are people just talking and using language efficiently. So there's that. It takes place, in 1899, just like Uncle Vanya does, in Russia, just like Uncle Vanya does. So I'm not really doing anything to it except like trying to work with the actors so that they're like good at it. But it's a great play. There's so much. That's what's so wonderful about Chekhov's plays, is that you go back to them again and again, learn something new, and hear something for the first time. And it's really great. It's been very exciting and fun. I mean, we're just staging. We've only staged through acts 1 and 2.
And when does it open?
February 21st.
All right. And,
yes.
All right. Then for our last question, I guess, any other Arthur Miller that you really love, that you'd love to direct one day? And why?
Arthur Miller writes very actable plays, which makes them the types of plays I like. I'm most excited about working with actors. Like that's what I want to do and what I like doing, and creating sort of a world with them that they live in. I mean, and yes, working with the designers, but just this, I'm not kind of going to stick a concept on something. His plays are really actable. I'm in love with The Death of a Salesman, but I kind of feel like I've seen that play so many times, and so many times I've seen it done really well, actually, that it's like, I don't know, do I have one of those in me? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Incident in Vichy is a play I'm fascinated by, mainly because there's like 23 people in it or something, and I'm like, where do they all go on stage? You want to talk about a web, right?
Yeah.
How do you do that? And wartime plays are fascinating to me, so I would say probably those two are at the top of my must-do Arthur Miller list. I do like getting to kind of knowing the depth and breadth of a playwright's work.
Yeah. All right, great, excellent, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I hope this is useful.
I think so. Hope you enjoyed our second interview in the Arthur Miller Project, and we'll see you for interview number 3. Thank you.